topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Barry G. Fowler, EA, brings you Tax Talk for You right here on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. As an enrolled agent and a national leader in tax resolution, as well as trucker, bookkeeping, and tax planning with over 30 years of experience, Barry will break down taxes, bookkeeping, tax planning, and tax relief for individuals and businesses just like you. So let's have some Tax Talk for You with your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome and good morning, USA. And, this show is dedicated to talking about taxes, bookkeeping, tax planning, tax relief, everything that has to do with taxes and saving you money on, everything you do in business, whether you're W-2 employee, whether you're self-employed, whether you're running an S corp, whether you're running LLC or partnership, everything you need to be doing is working towards the goal of saving yourself as much money as possible. And in part of doing this, and especially in the trucking industry, and you can apply a lot of this across multiple industries out there, is bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is going to be very crucial for you in your business to make informed decisions, ensuring that you've got every transaction is recorded, categorized. This kind of precision is going to help your business, whether you're a trucking company or other business out there, but it's going to help you maintain your regulatory compliance, avoid penalties, avoid legal issues related to taxes, and legal issues in regards to fuel regulations. For trucking industry, bookkeeping is kind of specialized and it aids in effective cost management, tracking expenses such as fuel, maintenance, payroll, tolls, scales, you name it, which allows you as a business owner to better budget, plan, control costs. And in today's world of trucking, managing finances effectively is paramount. Just as a trucker needs a reliable GPS to navigate the roads, a trucking company requires specialized bookkeeping to guide its financial journey. Here's some of the reasons why. We're going to go through some of the mistakes that happen as well. But, if you understand trucker bookkeeping, every industry has its financial nuances, and the trucking sector is really no different. From managing, fuel costs to understanding depreciation, trucking company bookkeeping has got to be tailored to address these specific needs and staying compliant with, regulations that every trucking company has to go through. Trucking industry is probably one of the most over-regulated industries there are, whether it's, IFTA reports, logbooks, ELDs, time of service, and other industry-specific requirements a trucking company, has to go through. They need to adhere to these regulations. And then, what a good bookkeeping also helps you do is steer clear of potential fines that are related to a lot of this. Bookkeeping also is going to give you a very efficient cash flow analysis to be able to track your cash flow in your business. And, there are things that are very variable in the trucking industry, like maintenance costs, varying client payment terms. If you got your own authority out there and you're invoicing, and you're avoiding factoring, which you should be, um, you've got to be able to plan for your cash flow and knowing when you're going to get paid from, the trucking companies that you're hauling for. Um, Good bookkeeping can make all the difference in maintaining that healthy cash flow. Your bookkeeping is also going to give you a lot of strategic financial insights. A specialized bookkeeper doesn't just manage the numbers. The bookkeeping that they're doing is going to provide a lot of strategic insights, whether it's considering, fleet expansion, exploring new routes, leveraging technology. The data-driven advice through the bookkeeping is invaluable. Now, we get questions, and we love questions. So text the questions on in and get those to us. Do I need, this is Jeffrey. Out of Louisiana. Matter of fact, we're going to be, Taxation Solutions is going to be in Louisiana this weekend at the inaugural Louisiana Moonshine event. So if you got a tax problem, hey, come out and enjoy some moonshine and talk to us about your taxes, about your bookkeeping. We're going to be out there. It's in Leesville, and it's on Friday and Saturday. A lot of great music from some friends of ours with Keeping It Country Live, their online radio station for just country music. Matter of fact, it's no commercials, and it's real country music, not some of this new country that you're hearing out there these days. So check out Keeping It Country Live radio. But we're going to be out there in Leesville for the, like I said, the inaugural Louisiana Moonshine Festival. So look it up online or go over to our Facebook page at Taxation Solutions, and you can find the connection to the Louisiana Moonshine event. So anyway, I'm sorry I got off here, but when you got somebody come on and texting in from Louisiana, you need to get some of this out. Do I need somebody localized to help you? You're on the road. You're going cross country, and truckertaxtools.com that we run here that does trucker bookkeeping and trucker taxes. We've learned and designed our business around you that are going to be on the road. You don't have time to go in and meet with somebody that is local. So you're not going to have time to come in and meet with us here. But we're going to be able to give you the information that you need to run your business better. So whether you're running one truck, 10 trucks, whatever it is, we can help you with that. You don't need a fancy degree to run your trucking business. What you do need is somebody that knows trucker bookkeeping inside and out, like Trucker Tax Tools does. And we can help you maintain that information. We know how to gather the information from you and help you, so you spend less time dealing with bookkeeping than you have to, and you don't have to do it yourself. We've got that for you. So even if you're confident in your bookkeeping skills, or maybe you got a family member that wants to do it, sometimes putting it in the hands of somebody else and being able to get that advice and being able to bounce things off them and talk to them is extremely important. And especially not just in the trucking industry, but every industry out there, is having a good person you can turn to do tax planning or budgeting or planning for those eventual problems you're going to have in business, whether it is maintenance, repairs, bad drivers, you name it. You've got to be prepared for it in your industry. And one of the ways of doing it is having a very good bookkeeping firm like Trucker Tax Tools. Matter of fact, you can call Trucker Tax Tools at 877-996-2477 and to be able to get a free consultation, talk about your trucker bookkeeping. Man, the fees start at $25 a week, and get some great bookkeeping for that. And you know that the company is here to help you and guide you. Matter of fact, I speak at Owner Operators Independent Drivers Association Foundation's Truck to Success seminar. It's a seminar all around truckers, people actually looking to move out from being a W-2 driver to being a owner operator out there on your own. So, we sit down and we talk about all the things that are important, not just bookkeeping and taxes and lease purchase and depreciation, but OOIDAs, great staff out there. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to get Andrew with the foundation on one day from OOIDA, or maybe Louis. Louis is actually in DC testifying over, not sure what he's supporting these today, but it could be truck parking or truck problems on the road. But they're out there representing you. Get one of them to come on here and talk as well. But, they talk about everything from getting your authority to medical, you name it. It's all about trucking. It's very intensive 3 days of learning. And, some people get out and go forward being an owner operator. Some people decide it's just much easier to stay a W-2 driver, and it's just not for them. Whatever the case is, it was valuable learning. And a lot of our clients that we talk to that have been through the program love the program and think the program's great. So check out OOIDA's Foundation, Truck to Success. And when we come back right after this break, we're going to talk about some of the mistakes that you can make with your bookkeeping, your accounting, and in the trucking industry. And we'll be right back after this.
We have only scratched the surface of today's show. Please stand by as Barry G. Fowler will be right back with Tax Talk for You. If you owe the IRS or are going through an IRS audit, don't go at it alone. Call Taxation Solutions Tax Relief at 888-930-1016. We are your solution for IRS debts, audits, back taxes, garnishments, liens, and levies. Whether you're an individual or business, you need a solution and a strong, aggressive tax resolution. Don't let the IRS walk all over you. Stop the IRS now. Call 888-930-1016 or go to taxationsolutions.net now for a free, no obligation consultation. Let's get back to Tax Talk for You with more Tax Talk. Once again, here's your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome back. We're talking about some of the mistakes you make in your bookkeeping and your trucking business. And this can be applied to a lot of other businesses out there. But this first one, and I've got a funny story for it. It's not really funny for them, but it is kind of a thing we preach, and it happened. But first is not understanding your business entity type and tax classification. So, when you set up your owner operator or carrier business, you have several options for structuring the business that will impact bookkeeping and tax filing. So when you're setting up your business as a sole proprietorship, it's extremely simple and will help you avoid having to process payroll yourself. But all of your net income is subject to self-employment tax. Or you could have been a LLC or an Inc. Then you got to determine which way you're going to be taxed. LLC can be taxed as a sole proprietorship. Again, all of your net income as self-employment tax, or your LLC or Inc. can be taxed as a S corporation, which is common for trucking companies because it allows a portion of the net income to pass to the owner employee without being subject to either payroll tax or self-employment tax. But you've got to have payroll. So you've got to have the payroll taxes paid. You're going to get a W-2 and you got to run payroll. Your Inc. could be taxed as an 1120 as well, which is just a straight corporation, but then you could be subject to double taxation. Hey, for more information about S Corps, LLCs, and sole proprietorships, check out one of our other podcasts and radio shows. Go to taxtalk4u.com and you can find our podcasts that are dedicated to S Corps or LLCs. The other option with an LLC, you could be a multi-member LLC. And then you avoid payroll, but then you have guaranteed payments. So you would have guaranteed payments subject to self-employment tax, and the rest is just subject to federal tax and state tax. So check out those podcasts and you'll be able to get a lot more information on what you should be. Interesting story. We preach all the time. Get with somebody that knows your business. Go through the consultation. Talk about your structure, how you're going to structure your company before you get started. Now, that does not mean talk to another owner operator at a fuel pump or a rest stop. Because owner operators, the expertise at the fuel pump is exactly what it's worth. You paid nothing for it, and it's worth nothing. And we have a client. We have free consultations with your bookkeeping, with your taxes, to where it's all inclusive. And our client chose to get some advice at the fuel pump from another owner operator. Set up his S Corp. His fellow owner operator said, "You set up the S Corp, man, we make everything retroactive to January 1. This was in September. And you can start doing payroll." Well, they talked to the owner operator in like June, set up payroll for their sole proprietorship, put themselves on payroll, which is not allowed. Then set up their S Corp, asked for it to be effective back to January 1, but their company didn't start until September. Never changed their W-9s with companies they were driving with. So everything was 1099 underneath their personal name under their sole proprietorship. They did not set up a bank account for the new LLC, the new company, and nothing was run under this new company. And now they're wondering, what do we do? How do we fix this? Well, you need advice. You need to know, like we said, need to know and understand your business entity type and tax classification, and then what are the do's and don'ts for your business to entity type and tax classification. So get advice, not at the fuel pump. Find somebody in your industry. And if it's the trucking industry, call Trucker Tax Tools. Go to truckertaxtools.com. Get that advice to help you. Mistake number 2 we see, no matter what kind of entity that you're in, and that is mixing personal and business finances. Hey, you set up this company to save yourself money in taxes. You probably set up your company because you think it'll help save liability. Because you talk to that owner operator, fuel pump bookkeeping, fuel pump taxes, these guys that think they know everything they're doing and say, hey, I don't pay anything in tax. I don't do this. I don't do that. Hey, these things don't make it right in your business. That's like a truck stop lawyer. It doesn't work either. So make sure you got a good attorney that you can work with and get knowledgeable information for your business as you're getting started. But one thing you must do is keep your personal finances and business finances completely separate. Blending personal and business expenses hinders your accurate tracking of profitability. When personal finances are included in business accounts, it really becomes difficult to assess operating costs, create budgets, develop effective strategies. Additionally, mixing business and personal finances complicates tax filings. When filing business taxes, it's important to ensure the accuracy when claiming your expenses, and including personal expenses could be very problematic and creates potential risks, and it can trigger major red flags in an audit. What can be done to keep your business and personal finances separate? Make sure you're only paying personal items, mortgage, your car payments, utilities, and everything else out of your own personal account. Don't mix business and personal in your business. That is one of the biggest things that you can fail to do. Mistake number 3, you're not tracking all your receipts and your expenses. It's critical, and I mean critical, to track all receipts and expenses. Failing to track every expense inevitably leads to missed deductions, inaccurate financial reporting, risks you really don't want to take. Costs on your taxes. You want the biggest tax deductions possible. This means you want to be very diligent about maintaining receipts for proof of business purchases. And for this reason, taxes alone, failing to track receipts can affect your bottom line and is simply very poor truck driving bookkeeping. To simplify this, tracking expenses, you start by categorizing your expenses and regularly reviewing financial statements. This practice not only helps you monitor charges, but also ensures accuracy across your accounts. If you're monitoring what's going through your credit cards or through your bank account, you're going to be able to catch fraud quicker as well. There are a lot of apps that are going to sync your financial accounts and streamline this process, offering tools to categorize and track spending effortlessly. Using trucker bookkeeping services like us here at truckertaxtools.com, which is dedicated to you as a trucker, helps to ensure that you're tracking all of your business expenses and make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's. Now, it's still important for you to keep your receipts just in case you get audited, to be able to provide proof for your business and related expenses. Use our digital tools, our apps, to capture and organize receipts in real time. If you make it a practice to handle it on the spot, it saves you time and money related to your business and not having to think or wonder if you're missing receipts or try to track them down. Take a picture, put them up into Trucker Tax Tools portal so that you have them and they're there, and it helps you to continue to track greatly business expenses as you are maintaining and going through to keep your records. And we're going to get into the next big mistake people can do, or a hurdle to get over in your trucking company, and can be related to any business, right after this.
We have only scratched the surface of today's show. Please stand by, as Barry G. Fowler will be right back with Tax Talk for you. As an owner-operator, you already spend too much time away from your family. Trucker Tax Tools handles all your bookkeeping and taxes, no matter what level trucker you are. Life on the road can be taxing, but that doesn't mean that your wallet or time with your family should suffer. Trucker Tax Tools makes your life run smoothly. Go to truckertaxtools.com for a free guide that will give you the tools to never worry about your taxes again. Call Trucker Tax Tools 877-966-2477 or go to truckertaxtools.com now and let the experts keep you trucking. Let's get back to Tax Talk for You with more Tax Talk. Once again, here's your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome back. We're talking about mistakes that you make in your trucker bookkeeping, which affects your taxes, as well. And the next really big mistake people make is credit cards. Now, credit cards, overall, I've been taught from a very young age are a bad thing. Piling up debt on a credit card is expensive. The interest they charge on you, once they start charging you interest, it seems like they never stop charging you interest. So credit card debt, it becomes a really bad thing. But using a business credit card can help you simplify your bookkeeping. And, most accounting systems like we use and stuff can sync with your bank account, your credit cards, and, help us provide better data to you. And, but where credit cards become a problem is when you're using a personal card for both business and personal. So you're mixing business and personal on one credit card, and you're paying the whole credit card in monthly payments out there. So we've got to designate a portion of the principal and interest to the credit card and to personal and business out there. If you're have debt on a credit card that you're running out there, what we try to do is, if you have to use a personal card out there in your business for credit card, dedicate one card that is strictly business and run no personal credit charges on that account. But also having a business card will help you because you could have rewards. And especially if you get a credit card with some good fuel rewards, and if they are better on fuel or something, given the amount the truckers spend on fuel, it could ensure that you get a better reward back. There's also fuel cards, like if you're a member of OOIDA, you could get their fuel card and you get some benefits of some lower costs, or depending on who you're leased onto, they may have a fuel card which you get a percentage back and maybe get a lower fuel prices on. But whatever you do in choices on credit cards, I strongly suggest making sure that you pay the balance off every single month. Don't carry a balance on those credit cards. Mistake number 5, neglecting mileage logs or tracking your mileage. We know there's ELDs in your trucks, and it's tracking and logging many things on there, but keeping accurate mileage for tracking is a very good habit, and it's essential for the tax deductions in compliance with regulations like the International Fuel Tax Agreement, IFTA. Missing or incomplete mileage logs can result in lost deductions, misreported data, and fines. Maintaining thorough mileage logs, it doesn't have to be very complicated. You can just put down your odometer readings. Your apps and GPSs can automatically track mileage as well. Whether you prefer digital or manual, use a dedicated single source for maintaining these records, and including the logging, the purpose of each trips, and regularly updating those logs. And then you can avoid issues with the IRS and maximize your deductions. And now this goes both for your tractor and your personal vehicle. If you're using your personal vehicle to pick up supplies for the truck, run errands for your trucking business, those are additional miles that you can deduct on your tax return or being reimbursed for if you are 1120S as an S Corp or as a C Corp or as a multi-member partnership out there as well. Now, if you're maintaining and tracking your mileage, the next mistake you get, mistake number 6, is not knowing your cost per mile. Hey, at OOIDA's Truck to Success, this gets talked about right in the very first opening session, is knowing your cost per mile. This is one of the most important metrics for all trucking companies, is the average cost per mile, which is extremely useful when it comes to decision making. It helps you price your services to make you more profitable, identify high cost areas that you may be able to reduce or eliminate. You know, you've got variable costs per mile, such as fuel. And fuel costs, depending on the prices, sometimes they stay pretty consistent, but price fluctuates. So those prices will be variable, can go up and down. But your average mile per gallon in your truck, you should be able to know what that is as well by tracking mileage and looking at how much fuel you're putting in your truck. You can calculate fairly easily right there at the pump your miles per gallon. And that should stay pretty consistent. You'll also know by tracking your mileage, you'll be able to figure out your fixed cost per mile, such as insurance. And that can actually go down based on the number of miles you drive. So you increase the miles you're driving, that insurance per mile will go down. And you might want to look at cost per mile separately for each category: drivers, equipment, customers. And so you can spot trends and look for areas of improvement. You may have multiple drivers driving multiple different trucks, and being able to figure out your cost per mile based on driver or truck can give you an idea, are you making money, or are these drivers particularly costing you more money than they are making you? Constant repairs on a certain truck because of the driver. You might be able to identify certain trends and certain costs that you can find to help eliminate some of the added costs that you have based on truck. Cost per mile can also help you identify that maybe you need a new truck to replace an older truck that isn't getting as good of fuel mileage out there, and it's costing you more to run. So a lot of variables out there that you can use to gain knowledge to run your business better today than you were yesterday. Mistake number 7, not staying up to date with your IFTA data, the International Fuel Tax Agreement, IFTA. It's a pact between the lower 48 states and the 10 Canadian provinces that all requires interstate motor carriers to report fuel taxes. Alaska, Hawaii, and 3 of the northern Canadian territories are unaffected. IFTA was put into place to redistribute the tax to the states where the fuel is being used, not where it's purchased. So if you're trying to decide whether to buy fuel in one state compared to another, then you'll need to subtract the state fuel tax from the retail price you pay. So keeping up with IFTA and your IFTA data is one of the most important parts of running a trucking business. And hey, it's one of our top trucker bookkeeping tips. At the end of each quarter, you must submit an IFTA report. And if you don't have somebody that does IFTA, we got some great referrals out that can handle the IFTA reporting for you. IFTA report is going to list the miles driven and the gallons purchased. These reports will determine either the amount of the tax still owed or the refunds due. The IFTA office in your trucking company's home state will notify you of your refund or your debt. So make sure you got a good IFTA company out there that can file these reports for you and get you your refund or get you to pay your tax. We've seen some people that have avoided this and end up owing quite a bit of tax because of the not filing the IFTA reports timely for the states they're traveling in. Item number 8, mistake number 8 is not planning for necessary expenses. Hey, we all know in the trucking industry, you're going to have expenses. And some of them are unexpected. Some of them are very necessary. So you got to gain some insight and understand your upfront costs and ongoing expenses so you can plan for them. These include larger costs such as docking or parking fees for your fleet when it's not in use, office space rental if you need it, and for your administrative tasks. Excuse me. Administrative tasks that are out there for you. Smaller expenses such as tolls, tire changes, repairs, and maintenance. We say smaller expenses. Those tire exchanges are sometimes huge. Repairs and maintenance can be huge, depending on what you're going through in your business. So if you're just starting your business, you need to factor in, these costs and the costs of having trucks themselves, insurance coverage, any licenses that you may need, any licenses you need to get between states and state lines, federally. All these things you can work with your association over at OIDA to get these licenses and make sure you've got all the right licenses in place. And then pricing your services so that you can cover these expenses and make a profit. You don't have to get out there and start with a large fleet. You may be a one truck operation and then eventually grow to 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 trucks. Help you build your cash flow and scale your business to bring in new clients. And then, having the cost of having a well-maintained fleet is essential, and regular oil changes and other standard maintenance on time, and then making sure that you're doing other items to reduce those costs in your business, whether it's fuel costs, maintenance costs, identifying the best places to go to get fuel on your route as well. These are all things that you've got to think about in your business when you're planning your business and setting up your business. Now, mistake number 9 is not planning for those necessary but unexpected expenses. Engine replacement, major damage, accidents, things like that you are not necessarily expecting to happen, but planning for the unexpected, setting aside the money for that eventual engine replacement, especially if you're running an older tractor. If you're running an older tractor, you may have to plan and budget for that eventual engine replacement. If you're running a new vehicle, making sure that your warranty is going to cover these such items that are out there. Or if you're buying a used tractor, do you have the warranty on it that would cover it in the event that something unexpected happens? And then have you budgeted for the deductible on your insurance, or the deductible on those repairs if you need it and have it. So, as we're working through the business and you're going through being profitable, mistake number 9 is not setting aside money, or actually 10 is not setting money for taxes. Every business owner out there, we plan for profits. We plan to keep your business as profitable as possible. But also in planning and making your business as profitable as possible, you are now going to have taxes on that business. So you need to make quarterly estimated tax payments. And, planning for those quarterly estimated tax payments and saving money for that sometimes is hard in your business. So maybe it's making monthly estimated tax payments so that you're having a smaller amount of money set aside every month for taxes. And whether it's setting aside and paying it into the federal government because you have required estimated tax payments, or whether you are setting it aside because you don't have required estimated tax payments to pay the tax come April 15th when the tax is due. It's discipline. It's talking with a good tax consultant, a tax planning, to make sure that you have the money set aside to do it. Your first year in trucking, you may not have to pay much in tax, depending on depreciation, income, when you started your business, and a lot of other variables out there. But if you've been in business and you are making money, you should be able to see, hey, this is what the tax will possibly be. If we filed your taxes before April 15th or done an estimate before April 15th, that estimate is going to include what your estimated tax payment should be for 2025, and then make your estimated tax payments every quarter or monthly if you need to. And if you see the profit is going up, as we go through at least once or twice during the year, we'll tell you, hey, set aside a little bit more money so that you are well prepared for taxes when taxes come due. And ideal trucker bookkeeping is going to include setting aside a percentage of that income and dedicated tax account, or making those estimated tax payments. We work with you to help you decide on that. Hey, we did have a question come in. Another one from Louisiana. And they said, yes, they're going to be going to Leesville and come see us at the inaugural Moonshine Festival if the weather holds out. Okay, we can understand that. But they had a question. Can I deduct my truck payment as an expense? No, you cannot deduct your truck payment as an expense. However, you do deduct the interest portion of your truck payment and depreciation on the cost of your truck. Now, if you're leasing your truck, as opposed to buying your truck, and you actually have a operating lease, meaning that at the end of the lease, you have to return the vehicle, or the buyout is a rather large sum buyout, you would be on an operating, and that lease payment would be deductible. But if you are purchasing your truck and have the truck payment, no, you're going to deduct interest expense and depreciation. So keep those things in mind out there. There's a lot of expenses that are unique and different to the trucking industry. And so you want to make sure you're working with somebody that's good in the trucking industry and truck driving expenses as we go. Mistake 11, putting off bookkeeping tax. Procrastination is fun. We all procrastinate over something. But the more you procrastinate, the harder things become. Kind of like, putting something on a credit card and you procrastinate until you got to pay it, or you don't pay it and you put it off and you pay the middle minimum, that's no fun either. And then you get the bill and you go, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay this? Well, you can avoid the inevitable and avoid procrastination by using truckertaxtools.com. But with many things in life, family, getting home, truck maintenance, truck repairs, trailer repairs, all these things are competing for your attention. And some of them you've got to do to keep the truck on the road. Some of them is just delaying, and you make that mistake of putting it off. And putting off trucker bookkeeping leads to disorganization, missing deadlines, stress of last minute record keeping. I'll do it later. It's be easier later. All of a sudden now you're 6 months, 12 months, and you haven't done it, and you've procrastinated. Now what do? Well, we can help with that at Trucker Tax Tools. But if you're in a do-it-yourselfer, hey, sometimes that makes it very hard to get back into it and do it and catch up for 6 months out there. You can use a service like truckertaxtools.com. Save you time, save you money, keep you organized, stay on top of you for these things that you need to make your bookkeeping better, to run your business better, to do a lot of the things that we've talked about earlier in this podcast to make your life easier, run your business better as well. Mistake number 11, and we see this in the trucking industry particularly, not claiming your per diems correctly. Per diems in the trucking industry, when we have a whole program on per diems. Matter of fact, last week's podcast talked about per diems as we first got into it. And go back and listen to that. You can find out all the information about per diems and doing them correctly. But they're tax deductions that cover meals at a standard amount versus having to track and deduct actual costs for meals in the trucking and transportation industry. And it's important to claim your per diems correctly to reduce your gross income, resulting in less money owed to the IRS. Go back and listen to that podcast at taxtalk4u.com. Subscribe, get in there and listen to last week's podcast so you can learn more about the per diems. Now, something to help you along the lines, you're going to be a do-it-yourselfer, finding the right accounting software, bookkeeping software for your business. We recommend, if you're going to do it yourself, get in and use Xero. Xero. Very good software. We adapt Xero to the trucking industry with our own trucker chart of accounts. We have one of the best industry practices for truckers that are out there at truckertaxtools.com. And we can help you get started either using Xero on your own or using Xero through us. Or just using us for your bookkeeping and your taxes. Like I said, right now, our base plan is $25 a week. Man, it gives you us doing your bookkeeping, profit and losses, balance sheet comparisons from month to month, year to year. All that is available to you in what we do for your bookkeeping. Can be available to you through Xero online and be able to help you run your business. We've addressed a lot of problems. We've talked about trucker bookkeeping. Trucker accounting and bookkeeping differs from regular business accounting in many ways. You need to make sure you've got somebody on your side that knows what they're doing. Trucker taxes is different than many industries out there. And Trucker Tax Tools gives you the plans available to you to help you run your business smoother, easier, dot the I's, cross the T's, get you the best deductions on your taxes so that you know that you are saving the most amount of money allowed by law. And these are the fun things that we get to do for you as an owner operator, as somebody in this business, and somebody that needs the help and the guidance of the business that you are in. Hey, connect with us at truckertaxtools.com or on Facebook at Trucker Tax Tools. Call us, get that free consultation. Let us get started. Let us save you money. Hey, but also connect with us at taxtalk4u.com. And don't miss a single episode every Monday, 10 a.m., right here at taxtalk4u.com. Thank you. Have a God bless week. Be safe out there, and we'll talk to you next week, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here, taxtalk4u.com. Thank you all.
Are you an individual or business that wants to understand taxes and how they affect you? Are you looking for specific tax advice for self-employed, business owners, and truckers? Are you behind on taxes and your bookkeeping? Are you dealing with the IRS and ready to have some relief? Then you need Tax Talk for You, hosted by tax and trucker expert Barry G. Fowler, EA. Tune in 10 a.m. Eastern Time every Monday right here on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Don't forget to check this and past episodes at taxtalk4u.com. See you next week at W4CY.com.